Coach, are you planning to kind of go without an announcement at quarterback and wait till Friday to kind of have that reveal itself?
I think coach will handle all that.
Okay.
I mean, we've discussed all of this at great length behind the scenes, and we'll just let it reveal itself. And then if there are any announcements, that's certainly something that Coach Prime will handle.
Officially game week here in Boulder. The Buffs and Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets face off on Friday. And it sounds like we're going to have to wait until then, until we find out who the starting quarterback is for this team, at least in week one.
It does sound like that. Now, granted, we do hear from Coach Prime tomorrow for his weekly presser, and I guess there is a small chance that he announces a starter at that point. But I'm with you. It'll probably be Friday night, first snap of the Georgia Tech game, when we're like, oh, it's Caden Salter out there. Oh, it's Julian Lewis out there, which will make for some riveting television, I'm not going to lie. And obviously it helps, right? If you're trying to keep an opponent like Georgia Tech on their toes and not allow them any kind of inkling as to what you're doing schematically, it's a smart plan. But we'll see soon enough on who that starter is for that first snap.
We'll see if we get an update from Coach Prime tomorrow.
What are some of the strengths that come with the different stages that both guys are at?
Well, certainly Caden, the experience of having played in a bunch of games in the college level. You know, there's really no substitute, in my opinion, for good experience, right? I mean, you can copy people's knowledge, but you can't copy their wisdom. And I think as you get older and play more, you become wise in situations that you maybe haven't experienced. Juju's super talented. He's seen a lot, and he'll be able to roll with it. And hopefully, to this point, we've given him things to work with, and we've trained him on what to see. And really, when you play quarterback, it's much like being a fisherman, right? You know what you're looking for, know when you see it, and then when it's time to cast or pull the trigger, you pull the trigger. And I think that's what you do when you train the quarterbacks.
Some glowing words right there from Colorado offensive coordinator Pat Shurmur on Caden Salter. Somebody who obviously, let's call it 12 months ago, he didn't know at all.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
now at this point, you heard it right there. Coach Shurmur says, I've really grown to love this player during the process. He's tough, he's gritty, he's obviously a tremendous athlete. It seems like Caden Salter is going to be the guy for that first snap, but obviously we're still waiting on an announcement. But regardless, Caden Salter, has acquitted himself quite nicely with this staff, with this team throughout fall camp, and even in the spring as well.
Coach, what have you seen from Zarian and Cooper in that battle at center? And then has there been any separation in that battle going into this game?
We feel like there has been, and that'll reveal itself on game day. But we like both players a great deal. Unfortunately, only one of them can start, but whatever happens, it takes a village up there, and there's going to be a scenario this year where we're going to need more than one. So that's where that guy that's not starting has to be ready to roll, and then also be ready to play another position. I'm from the world where you dress 7 or 8 linemen, so you got your front 5, and then you got a backup at center/guard, and then you got a backup at tackle/guard, and so that's a process they have to learn also if they're going to move on in their career. Because if you're not the starter, then you got to be somewhat multiple, so that if we get dinged in a certain position, you can go in and play.
Last week when we spoke to Colorado's offensive line coaches, it sounded like that center competition was going to linger on for a little bit. Pat Shurmur today on the podium said that there has been some separation at that position, though. We'll find out on Friday, same time we'll find out who the starting quarterback is, whether it's Aaron McGill or Cooper Lovelace. But he also preached on the versatility of both of them as well. It sounds like they're both in that top 8-ish rotation that we keep on hearing about. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see both of them on Friday, but of course, one will start.
But you led the Big 12 in sacks last year. What is that edge group that you have this year capable of?
Yeah, I think the sky's the limit. We talk about it, that's our new standard. The guys that paved the way for that, the BJ Greens of the world, and they did a great job. And so they've seen what it looks like and what it's like to be disruptive, I should say. So I think we're really deep there. I think we got 5-6 guys that can play for us, and we'll cycle them through. I think hopefully our fastball this year is our depth. So guys are playing 30, 35 plays and not 60 or 65 when it comes to the fourth quarter and we need to stop. So excited to see that group. They've done a great job. Coach Elo is as good as it gets in the country. I want that guy in my foxhole with me, and I know they'll be coached up right.
Depth has been one of the words of camp, and it's going to be one of the things that defines Robert Livingston's defense this year.
We've been talking about it all offseason, bro. Arguably this defensive line might be the deepest, most talented position on this team. Not just the defense, but this team. And that is kind of what I think this team is going to rely on. Their guys up front, their interior guys, their edge guys. You know, we heard Coach Livingston say it right there. Our fastball this year is going to be our depth. We're going to have waves of guys, and we heard that even recently, defensive guys that we've talked to players-wise. Like, we're going to have waves of guys to throw at opposing offenses, multiple guys who do different things with different skill sets. This defense is going to be strong, and this team is going to be a defensive-led team this year, at least early on.
At all three levels, too. Coach Livingston kind of mentioned the rotation at all three. So it's going to be exciting to see just how many players and who is going to play on Friday. We'll be back tomorrow. Coach Prime speaks tomorrow. We'll see if we get a starting quarterback announcement and what we can learn ahead of Friday's season opener against Georgia Tech. Let's go.